Hello, Newsies. It's a new thing I'm trying out. I'm going to call everybody who's a fan of the show, tunes in live, which is none of you, Newsies. This is a new thing. We're trying it. We're trying to get a following up here on Know Your News. The show is Get the Flick Out of Here. I'm your host, Alex Pawlowski. With me, as always, is Kate Elizabeth. Let's get the flick out of here. It's a thing we do. It's supposed to be funny. But yeah, hey, there are people here. Hello, everybody in the chat. So we're gonna start doing these live every Friday at noon Eastern. Come and hang out with us, eat your lunch while watching us talk about increasingly terrible movies, because it does feel like I am slipping down a rabbit hole into the worst movies ever made.
Like impressively so.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. So Kate, everyone knows from the thumbnail. Remember like how basically every week I try and like lead you in slowly as to, hey, everybody, giving you hints. Which movie could it possibly be? I always forget there's a thumbnail and they know what movie it is. It's Theodore Rex.
It sure is, Alex.
It is. It's Theodore Rex. Kate,
I'm about to revoke my I'm not allowed to choose ban after what you
No.
No.
This is the thing. Because listen, I may choose terrible movies, and in this case, I certainly have. But they're always like legendarily terrible. This is not like, hey, they came out with a new bad Christmas movie. This is almost 20 years ago, Whoopi Goldberg agreed verbally to do a movie for an Italian production company and then tried to get out of it. And the way she tried to get out of it was by suing the production company so she wouldn't have to be in the movie. She lost the lawsuit, which is why she's in the movie. But the judge felt so bad for her, he made the producers pay her an extra $2 million.
Yep. Which I'm not going to bring Fightful energy into here, but if NXT stays this bad, I'm suing Sean for another $2 million. So
it's just
Alex, this had a $35 million budget and wasn't released in theaters. Straight to take-home release at this time VHS.
1/5 of that budget went to Whoopi Goldberg. They paid her $7 million to be in this movie. Now, if you could have probably found somebody to do this movie for like $500,000, it wouldn't have made the movie any worse.
Or more releasable.
Or you wouldn't have made less money by, you know what I mean? So why when she goes, hey, yeah, I don't know why I said I was going to do this. I don't want to do it anymore. Where you go is awesome. We're going to save $6.5 million and you can leave. But they said, no, you have to do this movie. And they took her to court. And here's why the judge eventually had to rule against her. Because when she called the guy to accept doing the movie, like originally, it was in the 90s. So there was an answering machine. And where you just get to the phone right after the answering machine picks up and you can say, hey, no, I'm here. Hi. The answering machine will continue to record the conversation you have with the person. That happened to Whoopi Goldberg. So they had on audio tape her saying, yeah, I'll do the movie. And so she said, I never agreed to that. And the lawyer was like, Exhibit A through Z. Here you go. Yes, you did. And the judge was like, you did agree to do the movie, Whoopi. But I've read the script. You owe her $2 more million.
Yeah. They were like, this is going to tank your career, so we're going to get you some money on the way out. I don't know.
Didn't she win the Oscar for Ghost?
For this?
Something? Not for this, no. But like she was an Oscar-winning actress at this point.
I
like,
think
so
for
the
Ghost.
Color Purple was a huge thing. She was in Ghost. She had done this is post both sister act movies. She was a major movie star.
She was a movie star when I don't know what she was under. I don't know if it was a hostage situation.
I don't know.
When she agreed on the answering machine. What happened here? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
My God.
No.
$35 million straight to video. Did not even make it into theaters.
No.
My God.
They knew it was going to be so terrible. Love Fro is here. Hello. Sour Flick Society. I like that.
That's pretty great.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Hello, David H. I'm so glad that people in the UK can watch us do something live because usually in the UK it's very, very early. Ryan Sullivan, you are wrong. This movie
Stop lying, Ryan.
Ryan, you were wrong. We get to do this now. Ryan, you're wrong. This movie's not a class. It's classically bad. It's a classically terrible movie.
I get to tell Ryan he's wrong all the time because he's my co-host on Wednesdays. But now it's nice that we get to do it here. This is
right
just refreshing.
Together, both of us. That's nice. Kate, there's a crawl at the beginning of the movie, like the beginning of Star Wars, where like it lets you know what's going on, but it doesn't though, because like none of it makes sense. In a weird like
script scroll
timey script. Yeah. Yeah.
God, Alex, I watched this movie. I paid attention to this movie the best I could. I still don't really know what it was about.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. So the crawl, I believe, the Wikipedia entry says that it is a buddy cop science fiction comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
No.
They're not buddy cops.
No.
They're not even. Science fiction is tough because here's where it immediately lost me. It is a futuristic film, and the thing that they are bringing back is the oldest living creatures like in the world.
Right.
And dinosaurs. And wardrobe-wise, Alex, evil doctor lady who looks like Aubrey Plaza looks like she's from the 50s, like she's a 50s secretary. One of the guys who has long hair looks like he just outgrew a metal band. Like, this did not look futuristic. And the dinosaurs, I honest to God was like, did this come out before the dinosaur show or after? Because one of them inspired the other.
No, after.
So they took the dinosaur outfit from dinosaurs.
Well, they did because the guy who designed the dinosaurs TV show costumes was the guy who designed all of these. And when I say designed, I mean he went over to a closet on the ABC lot and took them out of it and went bye-bye. Because they're the same things. They're very, very obviously the same things.
In my research, and yes, I did research for this.
You did do research. It's true.
I found out that Spike, dinosaur man from Dinosaurs, Spike,
yes,
he was voiced by Chris Maloney.
Really?
Detective Stapler at SVU. Who would have known?
I had no idea. That's true. Here we go. Here's the crawl. I'm reading it to you. Once upon a time in the future, it says, at midnight tomorrow, billionaire Eleazar Kane will launch his new Eden missile to bring on another ice age. I should mention this is all written in bullet points, like you're giving a presentation. This is bullet point. At midnight tomorrow, billionaire Eleazar Kane will launch his new Eden missile to bring on another ice age. Okay.
Sure.
Bullet point. After mankind is extinct, Kane will reanimate the pairs of all Earth's animals he keeps frozen in his ark and create his vision of paradise. Bullet point. 1 hour ago, 2 workers escaped from the New Eden compound and are racing to tell the police about Kane's master plan. ...
Like, not even a clever master plan. Like, oh, Noah's Ark, I'm gonna copy it. The Ice Age, gonna copy it. Boring. Get a good master plan.
and then a dude whose name is Edge and is also dressed like the Brood version of Edge. This is 1996, so I have no idea if they got the idea for Edge, the character, from this movie. It's possible.
Or he might be dressed like the Edge from U2. They're kind of dressed the same.
Yeah, he's kind of. He's running around with a very bright silver handgun held behind his back as he's running through a park. It's all
in the future. Everyone's an idiot. You're gonna find that out.
It's all in black and white. It's the only shot in this movie that's all in black and white. It's the first shot of the movie. So it's this old carnival park playground thing. There's all kinds of cobwebs all over the trees. I don't know why. He's just searching for somebody with a gun. He ends up like shooting a dinosaur, I think, but he doesn't. That's right. He throws something at it. We'll find out what it is later, but this is all done. It looks like it's there's a dinosaur crossing a bridge, and he looks and sees the dinosaur, and he takes out it looks like a pocket watch. And outside of the pocket watch, he opens up, and a full-color butterfly flies out of the pocket watch onto the nose of the dinosaur, and then explodes.
So,
and the reason why it's all in black and white is because Theodore Rex, wakes up screaming. That was a nightmare he had, but it was the truth. Like you find out later. Obviously, I don't know why I have to explain this to you. Dinosaurs exist in the future. Also, they have a telepathic connection with all other dinosaurs.
Yes.
I mean, obviously.
I'm not an idiot, so I don't know why you're telling me that, but
it's true.
Teddy the Rex has received this information via telekinetic butterfly-ish. And I guess his visions are all in black and white. We do find out later that all dinosaurs are connected in this way. Not like a great job of kind of the like I'm sensing character. Like you get those in buddy cop things, like in Team America when they make fun of that trope. Like there's not, they have this like always like a detective that it's like, we can't solve the crime, we don't know what to do, there must be something supernatural in effect. But it's just Teddy, like, and all dinosaurs that have this power, and he jumps out of bed at the sight of this, or the receiving of this image, which was very, 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 very weird to open this movie.
He owns a dog. It's a very small dog. It's a cute dog. I don't understand why dinosaurs can walk around, wear human clothes, and talk, but dogs can't.
There is like an acceptance. We find out later why, but like dinosaurs and people just coexist. It's not weird at all that dinosaurs are like in this world,
like in the Bible.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like there's some biblical references in here that are just odd. Like why Noah's Ark came into play is weird. But like I was just so confused because it's a futuristic society, as we learn a scene later. But there's dinosaurs walking around.
Right.
It's and they're dinosaurs that can talk. But to your point, they have pet dogs that can't. And it's just very it feels like they went out of the way really hard to make dinosaurs a part of this movie. There's no reason this couldn't have just been robots, really.
Oh, sure. Or anything else.
Or anything else, yeah. It's very
weird. Like, hey, this crazy wacko billionaire brought dinosaurs back from extinction and used weird science to make them talk and wear clothes. how is that any difference? But like, all bears talk now, and they're cops. Like, it's like just do whatever. Like, hey, jellyfish can fly, and also everyone gets their mail delivered by flying jellyfish. Just pick a random shit that anything. Anyway, so he wakes up. I should point out he's also wearing he's wearing an Ebenezer Scrooge sleeping cap. Like it's and it's really long. It's got a little fuzzy ball at the end. He's got an Ebenezer Scrooge sleeping cap. It's the future.
I guess that dinosaur's wardrobe closet ran deep.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't even know how to talk about. He gets on a weird phone and calls the police department and says, "Hey, I just got this really weird feeling. Anything going on tonight?" And the person on the other line says, "Yeah, nothing for you, public relations guy. They're keeping it real quiet." And so he just decides to go investigate it because, of course, he does.
There's been a dinocide, we learned out.
Yeah, that's true. I also should mention that the old not old. I mean, it is old now. That makes me feel old. Father of Bride, not the original one with Spencer Tracy, but the newer one from 30 years ago with the son-in-law of the father of the bride is played by an actor named George Newbern. It's like not the bride, but the groom and the father of the bride, played by an actor named George Newbern. He is the voice of Theodore Rex. It's a very nondescript, very mid-30-ish white guy voice. They didn't get like a really good voice actor or somebody really famous to sit in a studio somewhere.
Us.
Yeah,
dinosaurs, they're just like us.
They are. It's true. They are. They're just like us. But Theodore Rex says, "Well, I'm going to do some investigating anyway." He lives in the world's largest apartment, but it's decorated like he's a child. And he takes a bath with a bunch of rubber duckies. I should say George Newbern was instructed to narrate everything he did. Like, hey, it's me. Hey, I'm putting 1 rubber ducky, 2 rubber ducky, 3 rubber ducky. Gonna get in the bath. I'm in the bath. Oh, look at me in the bath. Like he's not singing it. I'm making it more fun. He's just saying it. Hey, here I go, opening my sock drawer. I am going to put on socks. Like he says it out loud while he's doing whatever he does.
Like we can't see him. Like they brought dinosaurs back. They made them not intimidating and they made them dumb. At least this one. They all seem a little bit stupid, but it is just God, this movie's so weird. There are things like I just want to make sure that we get off the bat. When I said dinocide, it reminded me of a few things in this movie, and I don't know if they're going to get called out.
No, probably not.
At one point, when we meet Whoopi Goldberg later, she doesn't want to work with a dinosaur on a case, and they say, "What are you, speciesist?" Mm-hmm. Which I'm sure she thought was hilarious. Let me quit.
There are parts of this. There are parts of this movie when they first start working together where it's basically just the beginning of 48 Hours with Whoopi Goldberg as Nick Nolte's character. I ain't working with no dino. What are you talking about? And it's Whoopi Goldberg is as speciesist toward Teddy as Nick Nolte was racist toward Eddie Murphy, and everyone's like, "Ha ha!"
They refer the dinosaurs call humans soft skins throughout the
soft skins and scales.
It's scales.
That's what the soft skins call dinosaurs, and what the dinosaurs call humans is soft skins.
However, will we coexist in this world?
I don't know, man. It's crazy. So he gets into his car. Here's what you have to know. He's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Basically, I mean, he's not. He's 6 feet tall, maybe 6.5 feet tall. That's as big as they get now. I'm like,
why did you choose dinosaurs when you just made them as tall as humans and you made them dumb? This was so weird.
So they were reanimated, brought back from the dead, taught to speak. They're telepathically connected. They made them much smaller. You have to wear clothes. I should mention that the shoes that they wear, because they have 3 big toes, right? The shoes are like 3 Converse All-Stars sewn together, and the full toes of one shoe goes over one of the toe. Like it's like 3 shoes right next to each other, which is odd. Oh, he loves cookies. Like he hits a button before he leaves, and the cookie shoots out of something into his mouth, and he goes, "Ha ha, yeah, cookie!" And he drives a car.
Dinosaurs back to be dorks. It's just
I don't know. It was very odd. He gets in the car, and because he's got a very long tail, that's a running gag. The whole thing, long tail. He swings it. There's a compartment that opens up so his tail can get into the car. No, the maybe is not about Baby Sinclair and saying not the mama. There's no act. I don't believe there's any. We don't ever see any children dinosaurs. Maybe they get like when they get cloned or whatever. Maybe they come out of the egg fully formed. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't even know if were they in an egg?
No, I didn't.
Because they're
I don't
just
see ever. Yeah.
Spoiler alert: they get cloned, not hatched.
He's a recovering carnivore.
Oh, we're gonna get to the fact that Whoopi Goldberg doesn't know what an herbivore is later, but
so when he gets in the car and drives away, there's a shot that I could guess would say CGI that just pans over the entire city to let you know that it's a city. There's like 4 different billboards that say the future is now. I guess they're all paid for by the Elazar Kane Foundation or whatever. But this is where we see Katie Coltrane and her partner that they're going to find some bad guys. These are what they are known as guns. That's what you call street cops in this situation. There's a guy who is roller skating away from a big 18-wheeler. And somebody driving it shoots him dead. And these 2 cops who are there and see the dude roller skating away and get shot, then decide to spring into action and slide down a zip line on top of the car.
My whole thing was it felt like they super knew this guy was about to get shot and just did nothing. And then waited till he got shot to act. It was very something, but he wasn't really shot dead. He was shot. No. He was zapped, dead. Right? Wasn't he? He
was shot. No, he was shot with a gun, like a regular old gun. And so now that it's a regular old gun, but all the guns in this have a little extra compartment underneath with a light on it that blinks really fast, so you can tell it's a feature. Then Whoopi's partner falls on the front of the thing and is fighting with a very large woman driving the Mack truck. And while Whoopi falls into the compartment and sees the corpse that they've just killed and brought into the car into the back, and she decides to have like a little talk to the leader of the bad guys in the back, who's got a weird like biometric eye, and he talks like this. Hello, just talk like this now. Hello. I don't know why he does that, but he does.
Was there not a director? Like, this is the most chaotic thing in the world. This guy has one eye and speaks weird. Everybody else is like dressed kind of normal, or played it up the middle of like, I kind of have a futuristic look, but I still sound like a human being. This was the most disjointed defining of what the future is ever. This was terrible.
Right. So anyway, they all pull guns on Katie Coltrane, Whoopi Goldberg, who, after she says a few like quips or something, has a gunfight in the back of a semi trailer, and then though somebody pushes a button and a trap door, and she falls through it while clinging to a table, I guess, that was back there, while firing while clinging to a table through the thing. And they're firing at her. And then the little cable that she's on snaps and she skids to a stop and goes, yeah. Like, she was like excited to do the little fun, like, she went for a ride. It's like she said, wee. That's what it sounded like to me. But the thing crashes. Her partner, who's you could tell is like one of those hard bitten, like, I'm 50 years old. I don't know why I'm still doing. You got a bit of a gut. It's like, hey, Katie, welcome back on the force. And so we never see him again, by the way. No. You can tell he and Katie Coltrane have a long-standing working relationship. They bicker back and forth a little bit, but like all cops and their partners do that. Like, it's no worse than, for example, Benson and Stabler. It's no worse than them, but she has to have a new partner. We never, I don't even know if we ever get this guy's name. It's just a random dude. So they find the dead guy that was killed, and they're trying to figure out who it is. And they get like a hologram from some guy back at headquarters. If the numbers check out, you'll be street legal again, Coltrane. And then he blips out, and she says, I love it when he does that. I really do, which doesn't make any sense. It feels like there was a line that they cut out that she's supposed to respond to, but isn't.
Let's pull back for a second if we can and just discuss Whoopi Goldberg's effort in this performance in general. This felt like she tried to sue to get out of making this movie. There were some moments where it felt like she was trying, but when you're playing like extremely serious next to a dinosaur, right. The line between I'm serious and apathetic is murky at best, and then she obviously didn't want to do this film.
Right.
There were some moments that I felt like were probably improvised, where it seemed like she was trying. But my goodness, it was around this point that I was like, I don't know if it's the way they cut the scene or whatever, but I was like, we are like 10 minutes into the film and she is checked out of her role making this.
So much so. Ryan Sullivan says, no one will convince me that the creator of this movie didn't watch Dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, and Law and Order while high back to back to back. I mean,
if they had put that as the description on Tubi, I would have signed up for it like in the second and had a completely different mindset watching it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, the tagline of this is, the world's toughest cop has a new partner, and he's a real blast from the past. That's what they say. That's how she's the world's toughest cop. So then we see the dead dinosaur. A dinosaur at the carnival graveyard. He's been. Yeah. I do appreciate that the reporter who's on site has a rig strapped to her shoulder with an arm around the thing with a camera pointed at her, so she is her own cameraman. So they've unwittingly. They've invented TikTok. Like, it's where it's just you go live with your own phone. So Theodore Rex is there, and he's talking to a woman who obviously has a relationship with him, who's another cop, and he's trying to ask questions about it. And she knows him, she's sympathetic to him, but she knows she's not allowed to say anything to him. That's the deal. And we never see her again. She's in this one scene, and that's it. Like, she helps us introduce us to who Theodore Rex is, because like, oh, this woman is a human being who works with him, and there's never a point where like Katie Coltrane comes to her and says, hey, you know Teddy, right? What am I supposed to do? Like, I don't know how to work with these dinos. And she gives Katie some sage advice, like on how she's worked with him in the past. No, that nobody thought to like do that. Give her a reason for existing beyond this one scene. This woman got her SAG card probably by starring in this one movie with the one scene, and thought that was gonna lead to something else. And no,
they were so angry that it wasn't an under 5 too. They were. Yeah. I will say. aesthetic of this scene was actually not bad. Like the way they set up the dino side, cheesy as it was. Like I was like, oh, this is like they tried. The lighting is good. This dinosaur doesn't just look like he's out of the Dinosaurs movie. So my thinking is all of the production budget went to Whoopi Goldberg, this shot, and then an explosion scene that we'll talk about later. But this was one of the 3 things that the budget went to, in my opinion.
Right. From this scene, you glean the information that no dinosaur has ever been murdered.
Yeah. Not like this.
But the way that the woman cop is like, dinosaurs. Oh, that's a first. And I'm like, I don't like, oh, okay. I like, so wait, how long have they been like around for 2 weeks? Like, we've established they come out fully formed. They don't need to grow up from a baby. So they maybe, I don't know how long they've been there, but it's weird that like no one's ever been killed before. Yeah.
Maybe it was this particular dinosaur. They were like, he donated
Perhaps.
so much money.
He did. He did. So
he was a great philanthropist.
He's going. So he decides he's gonna. He calls in and says, they say, hey, stay at home. Don't do anything. Whatever you do, don't go down to the site where the dinosaur was murdered. And he does. He talks to another cop there, and then he calls in and says, hey, where's the commissioner? And they tell him. Like, he's obviously not actually supposed to be doing any of this stuff, but they're like, nah, whatever, we'll just do whatever. So he has to go and visit the commissioner, who was played by Richard Roundtree, the man who played Shaft. And I mean, like, I don't know if they had to pay him an extra $2 million, but he deserved it to be in this also.
What happened with the resume gap here? Ryan Sullivan saying they treat seeing a dead dinosaur like seeing a dead kid. That's exactly what it was. It was just like, unspeakable tragedy. I don't. He didn't really go on to do much else, right? I feel like this movie just tanked people's careers.
Yeah. So crazy one-eyed guy who talks like this meets the assassin with the long hair, meets Edge. On
this day.
I shoot dinosaurs. I blow him up with a butterfly. They meet. They meet. The one-eyed guy, his name is Spinner. Spinner with a one-eyed guy, he talks like this, meets Edge in a sewer drain and gives him a necklace that the guy they shot, who was on roller skates, had on him. It says, yeah, compliments of Adam. And Edge says, give me that. And all the other guys who run around with Spinner are all called Zap Heads. I don't know if that's like they call somebody a meth head, or if I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's why I thought the guns were like zappy guns with the Zap Heads because of the zapping. It's weird.
So he says, "Where's the body?" We lost it. Sorry. And they were guns. They came at us. We're lucky to be alive. And Edge says, "Yeah, you were." And so that's the Edge doesn't like Spinner.
These are characters from different movies. Like, I can't emphasize aesthetically how much these guys do not live in the same world. It's so weird. So weird.
So the camera pans up from the sewer drain. The sewer drain is right next to the city hall, which is where Teddy is going to meet the commissioner. Teddy, with his giant tail, knocks over a sign on the way up there, and then smacks a museum guy in the balls as he walks into the door. He's got a big tail. It's a joke. The tail. It's actually the whole. At least they like pay it off at the end, because like the tail is the thing that helps him win the day at the end. But it's just weird.
And at hockey, which we're going to talk about later, his tail.
Yes, true.
His tail is his double-edged sword. It's like very helpful in some situations, very clumsy in others.
Yeah. Katie is walking through the neon lit, vibrant streets of this town and finds a little stray dog and immediately picks it up and takes it over to this food shack run by a small child, maybe a 12-year-old little black boy. And he's watching a hologram of the news telling him they're going to bring back raccoons. And he's like, what's this world to, Katie? First elephants, tigers, buffalo, now raccoons. What's going on? Like all of these naturally occurring, like, well, not naturally, we probably did it with deforestation, etc. All these naturally occurring extinct animals are being brought back, and he's reacting to it did you see what happened with another school shooting? But he's like, did you see what happened? They're bringing back raccoons. Like
this used to be a proper country.
This is what we should call you now, Katie Coltrane. That should be your name.
I don't want to be associated with this movie in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. But I do have to say, Katie is not like the name you give an aggressive cop.
No.
Like even over Kate. Like Katie's are like, oh, how sweet and gentle of a human being. Yeah. This was not. No.
I should also say, all guns wear the same uniform, which is like black lycra spandex, and a little weird harness where they keep their gun, and they have a little thing they talk into or whatever. And it's not the most flattering outfit. You would wonder if, like, hey, should they have like knee pads or a bulletproof vest? You find out later. It doesn't matter.
To pee in the future? Like this
no. But this is the other thing. We find out all guns are cyborgs. They drop that on us about 3/4 of the way through the movie. That like it's fine because when you become a gun, they take you in there. Basically, the only thing that is still a natural part of your body is your head, and the rest of it is all like RoboCop.
I do feel
they just drop it into like brief conversation that like all guns are basically cyborgs.
Well, and like they don't talk any differently, but the weird guy that's still a person head kind of does. Yeah, like it's just so all over the place. I guess you're right. Cyborgs probably don't have to go to the bathroom. But
I mean, I would assume not. But don't they have to like dispense oil waste or something?
Yeah, and like if you still have a human head, like do you still have human processes? It's very I don't know.
I mean, I don't think we ever see her eat, right?
No, she's not. She's not into the cookies. Like
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why she doesn't know what a herbivore is, because she doesn't know.
But she should have all the knowledge of the world if she's a cyborg.
They should have downloaded it to her when she was programmed. So she says, "Hey, take this little dog I just met." What?
Just the idea of like, they do drop this in 3/4 of the way through the movie. Mm-hmm. Why was she having emotional reactions to working with a dinosaur if she's a cyborg?
Because all cyborgs hate dinosaurs. It's programmed. Like,
but there's a thread where she warms up to him.
Right.
Like,
right.
You're a cyborg. Perhaps. You shouldn't have emotions.
Maybe that's where she's like, what is this new feeling of not being racist? Like, you know, maybe that was it. Like,
what is this new feeling? I was learning to love humans.
Instead of learning to love, I have learned to not hate. So anyway.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That was like that moment was like you had with Grease, where you were like, did this all occur in one school year? This was like over an entire school year.
Mm-hmm. Yep, not 3 weeks. Not 3 weeks, but 9 months have passed.
But 9 months, yeah. This was my wait. They're cyborgs. Why? Yeah. Why do they have emotions?
Anyway,
spoiler alert.
Yeah. So she says to this little boy who she knows, Hey, I just found this dog. Take him to my apartment and give him some food. She says. And he says, hey, come to the playground tomorrow. Like, I don't know if I'll have time. Come on, it's a surprise. You know, I hate surprises. Come on. Okay. And then she leaves, and we never see the dog again. So they introduce a dog that is owned by Teddy. We never see that dog again. They introduce a dog that for some reason she decides, oh, hey, I found a stray dog. This is mine now. And it's not like a way for us to see that she's becoming a kinder, more gentler person as she look like. It's not like the kid says to her, hey, I really want to keep this dog, but I got to make sure my dad will let me keep him. Can you keep him at your apartment until I can get the okay? She's like, I don't like dogs. And like, no, come on, please. I don't like anything. I hate everything. I'm a robot. And he's like, please. And he gives it, he's like, okay, I will. And then we see her warm up to the dog as she is warming up to Teddy. Like it's a parallel thing. The opposite, that she immediately loves the dog, but then puts it in her apartment and we never see her go to her apartment. Like, does the dog get fed once and then die of starvation? Like, that's what basically they're telling us. That's too bad.
Or are those two the only two dogs in town, Alex?
Could be. It could be. So Teddy goes to the big benefit at the museum run by Elazar Kane, where he's wanting to talk to the commissioner, and he runs into, I don't know, the commissioner's lackey, a guy, maybe he seems to be like a hospital administrator, but for police.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not actually a cop. He just works with cops. Like he's
an overseer of the cops. Yeah.
But he's not actually a cop, but he works at a very high up in the police department. It's odd.
Executive director of cops, but isn't one.
Right. He is trying to convince the commissioner, like, this is you're a publicity stunt that we pulled to like smooth over dino human relations by putting a token dinosaur on the force. And he wants to investigate the murder of this dinosaur, the dinocide. And Summers, when they are speaking away from, because Teddy's over there eating cookies, a lot of cookies. The snooty butler says, one per customer, even though you're not a customer. You're at a fundraiser where there's lots of food everywhere. Can you imagine like standing by the buffet table at a big snooty event and being like, one cookie per customer, please? So he takes all the cookies because he's a dinosaur. Also, as he walks in, he smacks someone on the butt with his tail. And this woman thinks that the one of the butlers did it, so she slaps him in the face. Comedy. So Summers convinces the police commissioner to assign him to the case with a human partner, and then when they solve, it'll be a major story. It'll be really good public relations for the for the department. And so he decides to do that. And the Summers says, I got the perfect person to be his new partner. It's going to be Katie Coltrane. And
can't imagine why Whoopi Goldberg didn't want to do this movie, as they are comparing dinosaur human relations to race relations by the police. So weird that she wanted to back out. I can't imagine.
No.
Can't imagine why.
So, Elazar Kane, who is played by Armin Mueller-Stahl, who I believe has also won an Oscar and was like a major supporting actor at this time. He's the German man with a mustache who talks like this. Everything he says is like this. This is mine. I'm in Armin Mueller-Stahl. This is what I talk like every time I am in a movie. I mumble with a raspy voice and a German accent all the time. I am Armin Mueller-Stahl. And that's who he is in this too. But he's playing Elazar Kane. And then Elazar Kane has a British assistant / lawyer / private doctor who works for him, whose job is just to be there.
Very frustrating when you can tell there's a good actor inside of someone who's being given this, because you could tell he's a really good actor. Yeah. It just, he was given this movie.
Yeah.
And he said yes.
So this is another thing that is so, it's something that is so out of left. It happens. It lasts 5 seconds. It is gone. You shouldn't think about it, but I thought about it like for an hour. We're teaming you up with a professional, Coltrane. And then a guy gets out of a car looking like Rambo. He's wearing like a double bandolier with like giant shotgun bullets. He's carrying a shotgun over his shoulder, smoking a cigar, and he walks up. And then like from like as though this is Coltrane, and then Whoopi Goldberg walks past him as he bends down to tie his shoe. So like we're teaming up with Coltrane, and the joke is we are the audience are supposed to think this is Coltrane, and then no, it's actually Whoopi Goldberg. But we already know Whoopi Goldberg is Coltrane, so the gag doesn't work. And also, it belongs in a different movie entirely.
And it, like, why are you like Whoopi Goldberg is a huge step down from this white man in this movie that is about dinosaur police relations, like just awful all over the place. And for the dinosaur to have the reaction of like, oh, it's just that one.
Yeah.
What? Like the dinosaur reacts in the way of just like, oh, sick. Oh, it's just this.
Oh, it's I don't get a team. I don't get a team with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Commando. Dang.
So bad.
And then we meet Katie Coltrane, who is obviously hates dinosaurs. Like was brought up to loathe dinosaurs, but she's a robot. I guess she's only a robot once she becomes I'm an adult human being. I would like to join the police force. And they say, great. Get over here. There's a guillotine. Put your head in there, and we're gonna put your head on a robot body. So also they keep talking about how Coltrane had to be like decommissioned for a while because she did a bad thing as a cop, but they didn't really tell you what it was. Like,
I was waiting this whole stupid movie for the big reveal of like, did she murder a dinosaur? Was she too aggressive and she murdered an innocent dinosaur? Or like, what did she do that was so bad? We never find out, but she's the laughingstock of the department, and they never really tell us why. Literally the laughingstock. There is a scene where everybody's laughing at her.
Yes.
And we don't know we know what for with this case.
Right.
But like, we don't know why she got demoted at all. Uh-huh. Like this movie's terrible.
Mm-hmm. No spoilers in the chat.
There's gonna probably be spoilers in this.
No, you know what I was joking. I was making the so anyway, they I don't know. I thought it was gonna be one of those things where the dad from Family Matters in Die Hard, like, I shot a kid. It was dark. The gun looked real enough. I didn't know, and they put me back on desk duty, and I feel really terrible about it.
The establishing shot of miscongeniality is her being too aggressive in an investigation that gets another cop shot, not killed, but shot, and she's put on desk duty.
Right. Yeah.
You could have given us that sentence and like that information in one sentence, and they're just like, nah.
You could have done it in the Once Upon a Time in the Future. Officer Katie Coltrane has been decommissioned for a while because, she crashed her police cruiser into a busload of nuns. Like, I don't know. Then this is also the worst looking interior of a limo shot we've ever seen. It's Summers in the limo with Elazar Kane and his weird lawyer / private doctor assistant. And she's like, you are supposed to keep your police pals off the trail. That is your job. It's like, oh, don't worry about it. Listen, Coltrane's washed up, and this dinosaur, he doesn't know what he's doing. They're going to botch the case, and then everyone's going to forget about it. It's a foolproof plan. Now, this is my stop. And if you'll excuse me, I'm going to hop out of this door that nobody opened. Like the
amount of things wrong with the aesthetic of this scene, Alex.
He leaves. Nobody
opens the door. Half of this scene it's not darkly lit. It's just in the dark.
Right.
And this gal looks quite a bit like Aubrey Plaza, by the way. I couldn't stop thinking about it. She looks a lot like Aubrey Plaza. And it's kind of an important scene. Like this kind of an important scene. As important of a scene can be in this movie. Like this should be something that is like, okay. We know what the evil guy's concern is here. We know why they're evil. Like we're putting the pieces together as the viewer. And they just, half of it is like they're driving under a tunnel and it just goes dark. It's not dimly lit. It is just dark. Like you can't see the actors dark for half of this. And then he goes to get out of the car. I guess you don't have to open cars in the car doors in the future. That's neat.
So Edge is driving the limo.
Adam Copeland is driving the limo.
Yes, Edge is driving the limo, and he's like, "Hey, I got this weird medallion from the corpse of Adam," and excuse me, and then the lawyer, private doctor assistant says, "You do realize that launch is tomorrow. There is no leeway." It's like, "I'm working on it." What are you working on? Like, what does the necklace do? What do you need?
The launch of what? Like.
Anyway, the reason that Summers is doing this is because he wants to secure passage on the ship, he says. So we're supposed to piece together everything, I think, from the crawl, which is why they did it. That they didn't have time to like put exposition scenes in here, so they did it with a crawl. So he wants to get on the Ark to leave once they create a new ice age. That's what Summers is doing. So that's why and they're saying, okay, you can do that as long as this. I don't know.
Alex, there needs to be a committee, and their entire job is you either get this, like $35 million went into this. Mm-hmm. You're either allowed to make this film, or you have to donate this money to like a country in need. Like if your film is so bad you can't go back and just work that in, you don't deserve to make a film, and you have to donate that money to a good cause. Because this is not a good use of that money. This wasn't going to make it back. Yeah. Come on. You can't even go and edit that back in.
Nope.
We don't even know why he's so diabolical. We don't even know why he's trying to really like wipe out the city and start.
Because he's a crazed billionaire.
Okay, but like, wouldn't you rather keep billions of dollars than kill society?
No. He's because that's the crazy thing.
I guess.
Yeah.
An ice age with Noah's Ark in it. I don't know. There's a better way.
Edge then makes a call like on FaceTime from the car while driving it to Spinner. Hey, have your people do a thing. Like follow the guys, follow these people. And don't know back talk. And then Spinner goes, "Meh." He stucks out his tongue at it. Okay, great. Then Whoopi Goldberg has to take a ride in Teddy Rex's car, but like he like she's in a roller coaster seat with like a bar that comes down over her. There's no seat belts. It's a bar, and then he lifts her way up to the top of the ceiling.
Earlier too, we see a scene where the Zapheads who murdered somebody are going after Teddy, but they just like they stop his truck and they have foam.
Right.
And Whoopi was supposed to go and help him. Which is so weird. And then, like, in this car, I don't remember there being a bar in his lap in that car, but in this car,
No, right?
There's a bar.
No,
It's so weird.
they go to the Natural History Museum, which is where they've taken the dinosaur. Not only has there never been a murder, there's a dinosaur has never died. That is what I am seeing while rewatching this while talking to you. A dinosaur has never died. They don't have a morgue for dinosaurs. So I guess dinosaurs
but they had, like,
immortal.
all the bones of them. Like, remember they're like going through the catacombs?
But that's the original dinosaurs, not these dinos, not scales.
Right.
They don't have a morgue set up for dinosaurs, so they have to take them to the Natural History Museum where it's being dissected.
We also get the best monologue in the world here.
Which is what? Remind me of what.
It's just like this ode to dinosaurs. He's like, my God, the stories these bones could tell.
Oh, yes.
And this is where they kind of reveal that all dinosaurs are telepathically connected to each other.
Yeah.
Old dinosaurs and new dinosaurs alike. But he's just really proud of his dinosaur hair. The stories of these bones, the generations of dinosaurs that came before me. I can't believe I get to stand here as a hero dinosaur detective. And Whoopi Goldberg's kind of like, all right. But this is where we find out all dinosaurs are connected to each other telepathically.
Right. Yes, this is it. Also, there's a doctor in the makeshift morgue at the bottom of the...
Oh, no, Alex, not a doctor. A dinosaurologist was the most clever name they could come up with.
Dinosaurologist, yeah. So she's sitting there as they walk into this room. There's a dinosaur laid out on this table. And she's sitting there at her desk like this, with papers everywhere. Oh, hello. No, I'm just here. It's like, hey, so you got this dead dinosaur here. What's the cause of death? From an explosion close to snout. I really haven't had time to look at the body. What were you doing at your desk when people that walked in? You were just sitting there like,
There's one body. It's not like there were a bunch of other bodies that she should have been looking at.
Right. So they pull. He puts his hand on the snout of the dead dinosaur, and the dead dinosaur is like, he can sense it. He knows that there is part of the exploding butterfly inside his mouth, and reaches in there with some forceps and pulls it out. And hey, look, this is probably what caused it. And they're like, I don't know what's this. I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Sometimes T-Rex stands for telepathic.
It's good.
Thank you.
How do we print him? Says Coltrane. Well, we have the scale patterns on the ends of our tails are all unique, like your thumbprint. So he puts it on like some weird copy machine, and it scans it and is like, here's his name, Oliver Rex. So wait a minute, nobody knows this, but they have a database set up so that when you how do we print him? I don't know. How do you? I don't print doctor, dinosaurologist. You know how to print him? I don't know how to print him. Do you know how to print him? No. Hey, I have new information. New information, everyone. Oh, don't you know? All of our scale patterns are different. So we'll just scan it, and then they do, and immediately a name pops up.
You have a database for something you didn't know existed.
Exactly. Thank you. Also,
Alex, scales and guns. We're not so different, or scales and soft skins, I should say. Right. We're not so different after all, are we?
Yeah. So Oliver Rex is his name. He lives with Molly Rex. So they assume that Oliver Rex is Molly Rex's husband. Molly Rex is a famous lounge singer at a dinosaur nightclub.
I immediately have a question.
Yes.
Is every dinosaur's last name Rex?
Yes. Well, as long as they're a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which all of them are.
So your scale tail just really gives you just a first name. So I hope every T-Rex has a different first name. Otherwise, you've got a real duplicate problem in your database for a technology you didn't know existed. Got it.
Yes. So they go to the nightclub. Long story short, Molly Rex sings a song Theodore Rex, who believes her husband has just been murdered, really wants to have sex with Molly Rex. Like this, go on some Rex sex going on. He's so in love with Molly Rex and totally wants to bone her. No pun intended. No dinosaur bone.
Say it by the bell time because we can't. Long story short, with this scene is fucking ridiculous. Okay?
I know, but there's all different kinds of dinosaurs, and they all belch constantly in the face of Whoopi Goldberg. Like the whole thing is her sitting there next to a dinosaur who takes something out of something, eats it, and then burps in her face loudly.
Do I have the exact quote here?
Do you?
Scrolling through my notes. He likes you soft skins. He thinks you're cute. As there's a dinosaur oogling at Whoopi Goldberg in this nightclub cabaret situation. Before we get to the fact that this lounge singer's husband just died and immediately Teddy, who is on the job, is just Lord Almighty.
So Teddy comes here all the time, and he knows all the locals. And the hostess takes them to a table. It's the name of the club, by the way, is the Extinct Species Club. So they took a lot of time naming it. But Molly Rex comes on and she sings a song. Now humans are allowed here. Like there's lots of humans at the club. I don't know if like interspecies romance is allowed. Apparently it is, but I don't know how that would work.
I don't want to know how that would work.
No, I don't know how it would work either. That's just Rock. He likes soft skins. I don't know. So
he actually thinks you're cute as he's sitting there like predatorially, pun intended this time, oogling at her. It's like, harassment is fine when it's a dinosaur. It's just a weird pacification of things.
She says, "I thought you people ate meat." And she says, "I'm kind of on the wagon," is what he says.
This is where my notes say Whoopi Goldberg doesn't know what an herbivore is.
Right. Well, I mean, he's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, so like you'd assume he'd be a carnivore.
Sure, but he's like, is it more barbaric than you people who eat animals for sport?
Yeah.
It's really high and mighty.
Yeah, it's very true. They don't like each other very much.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so he goes, she goes and looks everywhere away from the guy who's oogling her. And there's a dance scene with a lot of, they're all, by the way, female humans and male dinosaurs who are all, because that's the only way it would work. And so Molly comes out and sings her song, and then her song, which is very long, also voiced by Carol Kane, the great Carol Kane, amazing talented comedic actress, does the voice of this thing, and the song is very long. And finally, after the song, there's a dinosaur with incredibly big teeth who's just smiling at her and says something through his teeth that the closed caption person can't understand. Like, and it makes Whoopi just laugh her ass off. Like, you think you're going to get some with that line? And then she leaves. And that's, so then they go and I don't know. They go into Molly Rex's room and are just talking around the issue for a while, and then she goes behind her little partition to like change her outfit. Says, "Oh, by the way, I should your husband's dead." Like there's like where he can't see her or anything. Like it's weird.
It's extremely abrupt for how long they're talking to her before.
Yes. Yeah. And Ollie wasn't my husband, she says. He's my roommate. And then Teddy Rex goes, yeah. Yes.
Nice.
She's nice. Yeah.
Basically consent.
So anyway, yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg also rightfully disgusted by his behavior in that.
Oh, sure. Sure.
She's like, we are trying to investigate a thing. But essentially this is Molly saying like, Oliver was my roommate. Very upset still. Oliver was also a performer, we find out.
Would you like to come tomorrow for his recycling? She says.
A dinosaur funeral.
That's what. And then so he's wait. You said you didn't even know he was dead, and now you're having his funeral tomorrow. I find that a little bit suspicious. And she says, No. Speedy funerals are a dino custom. That's what they say. How can they be a custom? Apparently, there's never been a dead one. No dinosaurs have died, but the custom is that we have speedy funerals. Also, funerals are called recyclings.
Maybe that was a dinosaur precedent from the first time dinosaurs were around.
Perhaps it's possible.
They could also talk. If you watch our Ancient Aliens episode of the show, you know that they're probably put there by aliens. So
he has to go. They're separated. They go to two different places. She goes somewhere. They call it. You have her. He's glando, and if you are glando, that means you're letting your hormones do the talking,
take over,
or whatever,
and not your brain. Basically means thinking with your.
So Coltrane has to go and get the ID on the murder victim, who was the human murder victim from before. So Rex is going to go somewhere by himself, and when he does, he is attacked by people who spray foam at his car.
Oh no! This was after that. This movie dragged.
Yeah, it really does. There's a bunch of the name of the medical examiner is Knife. That's his name is Knife. So anyway, so they tell him it's his name is Adam. He's a clone, and he worked for Elazar Kane.
Dun.
Yeah. So anyway, the cloning patterns are very precise and irregular. Each one preparing the propriety corporate the propriety thing. He's like, and then we get a thing from Teddy Rex is like, "Hey, Katie, please help! Come!" And she shows up, and he looks like the inside of a Twinkie. Like that's what the whole thing looks like. So his car has been ruined, so he can't drive it. He said, I was going home, but I ran into some zapheads.
Zapheads who successfully murdered someone earlier are now spraying him with foam. And it's the same zapheads that we saw before. There's only 3 zapheads.
Yeah. Anyway, so the zapheads. Yeah. Anyway. So the Spinner and the zapheads come crawling back to crawling back to Edge, and they stripped his car for parts. And Spinner was supposed to just follow them, not do anything. So Edge has the 2 zapheads that come in with Spinner murdered.
Of course, Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
Yes, there was murdered. Yeah, this is dumb. This is all very, very dumb. And Spinner has to beg for mercy from Edge. The next morning, Teddy and Whoopi Goldberg go into the police precinct. And this is, I don't get it at all. The guy says like, "Hey, wait a minute, Teddy, you can't just have a new car. whatever, says the desk sergeant.
It was paid with the taxpayers' money, he says.
And then Teddy grabs the guy by the lapels and like, I'm going to eat you. And Katie's like, hey, settle down now. Don't piss him off. I can't stop him from eating you. So they're doing like a good cop, bad cop routine without any, like, they hated each other the night before. But now they've worked out a good cop, bad cop thing. And so that they agree to give him a new vehicle for him to drive. This is where everybody laughs. This is where everybody laughs at him.
Like how the Peanuts characters laughed at Charlie Brown. They're laughing at him. They're like, ha, ha,
yes.
Ha, choruses of laughter. It's so bad.
So then Summers comes down and be like, hey, what happens when cop cars get stripped with a cop still in them? And Summers is just a jerk. And so there's like, everyone stops laughing because Katie's mad at them. They go into the commissioner's office, who yells at them like all commissioners or captains do in all police movies. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. How dare you? You get back out there. You're busted down to desk sergeant, like whatever. You wanted this case, and I want to boost in my polls. Says the
Again, why wouldn't Whoopi Goldberg just be so excited for this movie?
I don't know, man. So then she meets the dude who was the disembodied head in the hologram from the beginning, the guy who says, oh, I love when anyone does that. I really do. And that guy apparently is the guy, he's like the Q from James Bond of all cyber cops, but doesn't actually give her the gadget or like, but he's always like, hey, so how you doing? Like, you need tune-ups or whatever. But I don't know what then this is the scene, Kate, where I'm like, okay, wait, what are we doing? The dinosaur goes in to talk to this woman about getting a cop uniform. The thing he's been wearing this whole time is like a cardigan over a different sweater and some like
he needs
pants.
To go
undercover as a cop.
Right.
Which, don't you not want people to know you're a cop if you're undercover? But he needs to look like a cop so he can go undercover.
He needs to look like a cop that's undercover.
He's wearing a cardigan, a sweater under a vest.
Can't stress enough.
And some
he's
slacks.
A dinosaur.
So he goes in and he stands on this thing, and a woman pushes some buttons and like morphs him into the same dinosaur, but wearing a Viking costume from an opera. And he like sings in Norwegian. And then another button, and now he's a Mexican bandito with a giant sombrero and bandolier and a poncho and a rifle and a big mustache. And he speaks in Spanish, like a Spanish accent.
Like, undercover, por favor.
Yeah. And then Kate Coltrane comes in and she's, hey, come on. He's, and then they turn him into he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt and a big lei and a flower in his hair. And he's saying laka waka maka haka laka waka daka baka as he's doing a hulu. That's what Hawaiian is in this thing. And like, I want to be undercover. He's wearing a grass skirt too. Well, give me undercover. And Katie's like, hey, come on, you got to make him look like a real cop. He's going undercover. He's got to look like a real cop. So before that, he turns him into he's got a tam o'shanty, whatever hat, little beret with a little ding on the top. He's wearing bagpipes and he's got a little kilt. He's like, I'm getting a wee breeze in my lowlands, lassie. I want to be a cop undercover.
My God, I don't know why an undercover cop in any of these situations is just a wheel of stereotypes, but that's
I don't know, man. I don't know what this is. And then they turn him into a real cop, which is he's wearing jeans, the same shoes he was wearing when he walked in, a hoodie over a blue sweatshirt, red hoodie over blue sweatshirt, and then a leather jacket over that hoodie. And he's wearing, and he says, "Hey, I'm too sexy for my clothes." Yeah, I'm like, you're basically wearing what you wore when you walked in. I don't know why this makes you more of a cop than the other thing you were wearing. Also,
and Whoopi Goldberg's like, yeah, he looks good.
I'm too sexy for my clothes
That
was a
you keep
dated
on.
reference in 1996. I don't know what it was by the time the future rolls around. But
That song is viewed like the Beatles. It's timeless.
yeah.
My God.
So then they're gonna leave. They have to go in his car, his new car. His new car is a garbage truck.
Mm-hmm.
So she drives it, and he has to sit in the back with all the garbage. And he's very upset about it.
And he's like, whoa, do you even know how to drive this thing?
Like, so they're gonna go interview Elazar Kane. That's their big deal. So
they are starting to put together that it's Elazar Kane.
And now they're going first on the way to go for Elazar Kane to go interview him because he's the guy who's ran the company that cloned the guy who was killed. They go to a street hockey club where all the kids are dressed like Lost Boys from Hook. And it's true, they're all dressed like the Lost Boys from Hook, but with helmets. They're doing street hockey. And so the guy, the little kid says, with the surprise was gives her a badge holder. That was his big surprise, which is sweet, I guess. But so they play hockey with his tail.
There's like, he's like, I'm the best hockey player of all time. I won all these awards and stuff. And Whoopi Goldberg's like, chill. And he's like, too much. And then he's like, put down 3 balls. And then he hits off 3 into the net, making the goalie look like a chump.
Yep.
Great stuff.
Teddy Rex. They all cheer for him. And he's being videotaped by Spinner. And
it's the future, and they like couldn't even have the videotape be in his eye. Got one big weird eye.
This is so great.
Have an external device.
That's so true. So Edge walks in to Elazar Kane's office, which is the most evil office ever. He's got this big high-backed iron chair and a giant desk made out of black iron and with these big giant like gargoyle things on either side of the desk. Like, I'm evil.
Could you tell?
Yeah.
Could you tell I was evil by my throne?
So this is, I believe, in case they get too close, we're going to kidnap these people to like get them to stop looking for us. So that's what they're gonna do. So they're going to they're gonna get in the back of this truck and go looking around the estate where there's all these animals, live animals. They talk crucially. Oh my God, live animals. That's what they say. So that's that they were going to look, and they look. It's basically like driving through a zoo, and they're excited to see live animals. Yep. But also, Teddy says this is where I grew up, because he was cloned also by Elazar Kane and grew up here. So like Elazar Kane knows him by face and name. Like, Teddy, it's so good to see you. Thank you for coming back. It's good to see you. I am Armin Mueller-Stahl. This is how I talk in every movie.
Of course. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg is like, can you believe this is the only place with live animals left?
Mm-hmm.
Very like surface level-y. He has this nostalgic attachment to it because it's where he grew up.
It is so then they go and they meet private doctor lawyer assistant, and then Whoopi Goldberg just keeps saying snooty things back to her in a British accent, which feels like a really good way of getting off on the right foot with somebody.
Of course.
But they go into his really disgustingly evil office, and they're just gonna, show you around and show you hey, here's like, these are ice fish, which is the thing that they came up with a name. They live at the polar areas where no one else can live. But there's an enzyme which allows them to swim and live in very cold, frigid waters. I've isolated that, and I've injected it into other animals, and I can freeze them forever because of this.
My God,
he says. And this is a little too early in the movie for the Bond villain to be revealing his master plan, but just does it right to their faces.
Yeah, makes you feel like, wow, they're dumb cops. Like, this is being fully presented to you on a platter. Yeah. Terrible, just really bad. And Whoopi Goldberg being just a brat to the British lady that looks like Aubrey Plaza. Like, you can't get on your dinosaur cop friend for being unprofessional to Molly when this is how you act.
Right.
But I think she just knew. I think she knew these guys were up to no good, but wasn't piecing it together because she is, whilst a cyborg, we find out with all of the intellect that should be fed to you in the world, just couldn't put two and two together here.
No. This is so we find out that Oliver, the dinosaur, and Adam, the human clone, were working together as part of a project where they were cataloging every extinct species. Well, not extinct, because he owns the last two members of every species, and they've been frozen in his giant warehouse of frozen things. And so they're cataloging them, and that's that they know each other that way. So,
also just weird they presented the evil plan to them on a platter when it had nothing to do with the investigation, really. Like, they came there to interview them about a very specific dinocide, and they were kind of like, here's all this other evil things that I can tell you about.
So they this qualifies as them getting too close, which then triggers we're going to kidnap your friends. So the little boy skates around the corner and sees, like, what is, I guess, supposed to be an arcade game, but where the screen is just like a sheet of white paper backlit by some very weak flood lamps, and he walks up to it like, what is this? And then two giant hands with weird furry gloves burst through the paper and pull him into the thing, and that's how he was kidnapped.
Also adore that they were like, we gotta kidnap the people around them. Let's start with the 9-year-old boy she's actively neglecting through this movie as much as she possibly can.
Yes, it's very true. He's the closest person to her. So then we cut to the funeral, the recycling of Oliver Luck. And in walks Elazar Kane, who speaks at the funeral, says, "Hello, it is I who is to blame for Oliver's murder, because I brought dinosaurs back to life. And therefore, if I had not brought them back to life, they could not have been brought to death. So I am Armin Mueller-Stahl. This is how I talk in every movie."
But they're going to find the people that did this.
Yeah. We're gonna,
which is them.
My solemn oath. I will find out who did this. We will find who's responsible for this, and we will do something about it. A better world is coming. I promise. And so it is, the way that they recycle him is like they liquefy him and then drip his leavings into plants, and then you can take home a flower that's got like him in the flower because the flower drank the juice. That's how you do a recycling.
Yeah, definitely supposed to be like the ashes of your loved ones, but instead they are liquefied instead. Very weird.
Also, there's a giant thing where all the dinosaurs dance around, like playing, like it's a Nigerian drum match, but with dinosaurs. Like they're playing the drums with, I don't know why, but they're all doing that. And then Molly, we can see that she's got the hots for Teddy Rex, and so obviously so does Teddy. So they're gonna meet privately. They want to get together in dinosaur bone.
They sure do.
So he wants to give her a ride home.
It's kind of funny because they invented TikTok in this, as we established earlier.
Yeah.
They kind of invented FaceTiming. If they had invented like dinosaur Tinder, where it was you up, Molly?
Yeah. He's got 1 hour to go and take by the way, there's the shaman or whatever, the priest said, like, I advise you to give up your dream of being a detective, says the priest, the dinosaur priest. And like, you never listen anyway. Youth. And they're going off together. So they bring the arcade thing with him. And the whole, like, you could have just brought the kid, but they wheel in the arcade machine with the kid still inside it. And then pull him out and show him to Armin Mueller's stall. It's so weird. How do you do, young man?
He bites the guy and who has the most dramatic reaction to a 9-year-old biting someone's wrist that you've ever seen.
Yes.
Oh.
He puts him in a headlock and the guy bites his wrist and he goes,
for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. So they go upstairs. They're gonna have milk and cookies, which I guess means sex. But I want you to meet my dog. Oh, this is the second time we've seen the dog. His name's Zippy. I don't remember where she gets kidnapped, but like he sits on a jukebox and they all dance. They're dancing.
I don't remember where she gets kidnapped either. In that,
I don't know. I'm trying to find out where she gets.
Weird,
I'm getting chills on my scales. Oh, he only had an hour, and you get your tail down here right now, Teddy. So he gives her his ring because it's like 1955 and they're going steady. So he gives her his ring, and he's got to leave. Yes, he's got to leave, but he leaves her in his apartment. But I don't know when they, the one is at headquarters. So they've gone to, So this is where they find out about the butterfly. I don't know. I still don't know when they kidnap her. I guess they kidnap Molly Rex out of his apartment. This is where they find out about the butterfly that explodes. And
the explodifly.
The explodifly. And this is what we find out about it. That it's made by the toy maker who works out of a dead storage where people keep their dead relatives until whatever they died of there's a cure that gets found for it, and then you can reanimate your dead relative. So he's a samurai. The toy maker who lives in the future is a samurai. Like, he's got full samurai hair. He's an Asian man. He wears a kimono, some kind of he's a samurai, and he works in a dead storage place. He makes things that look like that explode. He's the toy maker. He's a samurai. Have I gotten all of that right yet? I don't want to talk about the guy in the bag yet, because that's a whole other thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know why you're acting like this is weird.
Okay, good.
He's a samurai, dead storage area, toy maker, explodifly.
Yeah.
Duh.
In techno kill circles, he's known as the toy maker. He runs a dead storage company as a cover.
Oh, this is gonna be an NXT gimmick tomorrow.
He's a toy maker. He's a samurai. He runs a dead store. It's called Dragon Tail Dead Storage. And so they go in, they're walking through all these things they're trying to find, and they come to like the front desk, which isn't really the front desk. It's more like the middle of the warehouse desk. And there's a little hotel room, like a hotel front desk bell, and they go ding. There's a I should also mention there's cobwebs literally everywhere all over this place.
I do want to say the samurai thing, it feels like they auditioned an Asian actor for this role and he was great. And they were like, well, we should make him a samurai.
Right.
Like, it doesn't, it was like,
there's no reason for him to be a samurai.
It was like they had to back into a stereotype because it really feels like, they're like, oh, this guy is great for the part. Hey, he's Asian. We should make him a samurai.
It does feel like that. It does feel like that.
Yeah. Because again, you can see good actors trapped in some of this, and he actually felt like an all right actor. Felt like.
So, I do not know how to prepare anyone for what happens.
Alex is trying to get his wits about him.
I thought I had had a stroke.
Alex, I thought I had seen it all.
I thought I was having a stroke when I was watching this. They get to the front desk, which again is the middle of the warehouse desk. There's a hotel front desk bell. They go. He says, "Hey, all right, I'm gonna ring the bell." Yeah, go ahead, ring the bell. Ring the bell. There's a old piece of luggage on the front on the front desk thing, and it opens up, and out pops a 14-inch tall puppet that starts talking. It's got a little tiny head with a mop of black hair and a hunchback.
He's blue, right? Is he blue?
He's very light blue with little beady eyes that blink.
Yeah.
And his mouth opens. And it says, he says, "Welcome to Dead Storage. Who's gonna die?" That's what he says. Well, nobody's gonna die. We're looking for the toy maker. And he says, and I quote in this exact voice with these inflections, "Never heard of him." Like he actually makes say Hoyd.
Hoyd.
Hoyd. Never heard of him. Says the puppet. Like, and she's talking to it like she's surprised to see a puppet, but not surprised that the puppet exists. Just like I didn't know a puppet worked here.
Right. Kind of the same way with dinosaurs. But like now you've introduced puppets into a universe where you have humans, you have weird pseudo species humans, or like evolved in a different way, one-eyed humans. You have dinosaurs, and you have now puppets.
I'm assuming it's a puppet, or maybe it's like a different, like it's a
puppet.
It's a puppet for us. I don't know if it's supposed to be a living organism.
Alex, $35 million, and we're asking that question.
Okay, so she says, she's like, "Never heard of him." What do you mean you never heard of him? We know he's here. Come on, tell us who he is. Like, who wants to know? Well, who are you? "I'm the guy from the bag," is literally what he says. "I'm the guy from the bag." And she says, Whoopi Goldberg says this to a 14-inch tall puppet. "You want me to get in that bag with you and snatch you to pieces?" And the puppet says, "Ooh, I'd love it, baby." What the hell is this movie?
My notes, by the way, also say, the Christmas song, "Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag." This is him, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought it was about Santa. It's clearly about this guy. Why he's a cheeky old grandpa, I don't understand. From Queens, I'm gonna say. Never heard of him. Extremely confusing. Extremely confusing. I can't imagine why Whoopi Goldberg tried to sue them to get out of doing this film. I can't.
So, okay. It says, she dumps back in the bag and she goes in to go and reach for me, bites her. And says, "Don't be going in my bag." It says, You tell us where the toy maker is right now. It's like, why don't you take lizard lips and get out of here? My friend is gonna bite your pea head off. Ooh, I'm scared. And she puts a gun, like she puts the gun up against his little 14-inch chest, and he goes, Fuzzy, get out here. It turns out Fuzzy is a little caterpillar.
Alex, why would you threaten to shoot a 14-inch puppet?
I don't know. Cops, I'm out of here.
You could sit on it.
The bad guy. And then the Fuzzy, the caterpillar, says, oh, follow me. I'll take you to the toy maker. And it immediately morphs into flying butterfly. And it flies away and they follow him. Oh, and this is where, so Molly Rex is taking a bath in Teddy Rex's apartment, and this is where they kidnap her while she's taking a bath.
That happened later than I thought.
So they go in, and here's in a different part of the warehouse. There's a samurai. He's a samurai. He says hello. He says he's got long samurai hair, and so Tyrannosaurus, the Teddy Rex calls him girly boy. What is this, kung fu? I don't want to play games with you. We need a gun. We need one of your special guns. Like they're trying to like tell him like at least Teddy is. We need to we want you to make us a weapon. And Whoopi Goldberg, in full view of the guy they're trying to fool, goes, "What are you talking about? We don't need a gun." Shh. Yes, we do. It's like, oh, sure. Yeah, whatever. Like, she totally blows their cover, and she's supposed to be like the veteran cop. So they're going to have some tea, and he shows them the guns that he's going to sell them, and they're going to leave because they're going to blow something up. The whole warehouse explodes. Like he drops down he says, "Suck eggs, cops," and drops down that's what he says. He says, "Suck eggs, cops," and he drops down a trap door, and a beetle explodes and blows up the entire warehouse.
I never want to see this movie again.
No.
I do want to see a line reading of just these past few scenes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know of this movie. But things like suck eggs, cops.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Then the bag opens up. It's on the floor in a bunch of debris. And the guy in the bag slides out of it, looks around, and says, "Hey, I ain't cleaning this up." And he slides back in, and the bag closes. I don't know why that's here. I don't know why that's here.
He slides back in, and this it's my gosh.
So then the toy maker, Samurai, pops his head back up out of the trapdoor, looks around like, "Ha ha, I destroyed my entire business, but at least those two cops are dead." Like, he's smiling about it. And then Teddy Rex's tail drops down, wraps around his head, and yanks him out of the trapdoor. And then we cut to them torturing the samurai toy maker for like 5 minutes. "I'm going to hit him with my tail." Like, don't hit him with the tail. Why are you going to hit him with your tail? Well, I'm going to hit him with my breath. No, don't hit him with your... That's even worse than the tail.
Your dino breath. They make that reference a couple times in this too.
Yeah. And then he breathes on him, and the toy maker laughs at him. It says, "That breath didn't bother you?" And he goes, "Ha, no." That's a scene. And then they cut to and then they cut to
that made the cut.
They cut to the toy maker lying on his stomach, screaming in pain, bashing on the ground, as we pull back and we see that Teddy Rex is sitting on him. And it's like, "I can sit here all day." And he's also farting on him. He's farting on him.
Yeah. Bad breath, burps, farts. This is the future.
And then That apparently didn't work. Didn't get him to talk. So now they've strapped him to a board at a 45-degree angle with his head down. And no, please don't. Don't eat him. I'm gonna eat him. I'm gonna eat him. Watch me. I'm gonna eat him. And the guy says, no, don't eat. You want to know anything? I'll tell you anything you want to know. So threatening to eat him, even though he wasn't actually going to eat him, made him give up everything. But all the other stuff was either scoffed at or then like caused him great pain, but not enough to like you tortured a man.
Left out of the room.
Ridiculous. So it was Edge. Edge bought the butterfly. Edge did it. He works for Kane.
Kane.
Edge works for Kane. Was that a thing that ever happened?
Probably just like an elimination at the Royal Rumble or something. I don't think I ever worked for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, Darren. Here's the thing. Whoopi said yes after the idea. Apparently, the idea was she once she saw a script, then she tried to say no, and she sued the producers to not let her make the movie, and she lost in court. But the judge felt so bad for her that he gave her an extra $2 million in the summer.
Yeah, Darren, if you're joining us late, the top of the show has some fantastic details about this. Jessica was also saying this was her follow-up to Sister Act 2.
I mean, there was some stuff in between, but yeah, basically. So accidentally, while walking away from him, he swings his tail and knocks him out. And then Fuzzy, the caterpillar, pops up his little fuzzy caterpillar head and says, "Boss, I quit." That's it. That's it. We never see the toy maker again. We never see Fuzzy or the man in the bag again. That's it. That's all of it.
Can't emphasize enough, a blue 14-inch puppet with beady eyes and a caterpillar that turns into a butterfly when convenient. Were created for just that passage of the movie.
Okay, so then they throw the little boy. I guess his name is Sebastian. They throw him in a dungeon. There's a dungeon underneath the compound, Elazar Kane's compound.
The evilest man. Of course, he has a dungeon.
Sebastian is in the dungeon, and cut to he's in the dungeon. He looks over. There's somebody in the dungeon with him. Is it Molly Rex? Are they cellmates now? Will they become best friends? It's a chimpanzee. It's a chimpanzee that's in the dungeon. A chimpanzee who's like, I don't know what the chimp did, but it's in the dungeon. And he looks over at him, and he could have said something clever like, "What are you in for?" But he says, "What are you looking at?" And the chimp does this. And that's it. That's the whole scene. That's all of it. That's the whole thing.
Not a see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Good point. It could have just been Molly. It was not.
Summers shows up, and he's talking to a lawyer, private doctor assistant, and says, "Well, when do I get my seat on the ark?" And so then a couple of Zap heads walk in, and she motions them to come in, and they come in. He doesn't see them and says, "Well, tell me, Mr. Summers, what disease in your family?" As though like if like he had a history of diabetes in his family, he couldn't go on the ark. And it's like, "What diseases run in your family, Mr. Summers?" And he goes, "Ha, very big feet," which is a penis joke. And then the Zap heads freeze him. They freeze him solid, which I thought was what you did if you wanted to put somebody on the ark, but he's not going on the ark. They just did it to kill him.
Yeah, and it's a very weird... He gets frozen with a great facial expression. But the freezing technology is... It's the mood and mist of this movie. It's a little confusing as to what it actually does to people. This guy, they just froze. But freezing doesn't kill you, but it does sometimes. It's a little weird.
So the trash truck like doesn't work, but she says it's because the it's because the explosion knocked it out, so it doesn't work anymore. But then they see a Zap head who's followed them, and he says, "I'm gonna eat a Zappy meal," is what he says, because apparently McDonald's is a thing.
Last week.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, hey, I thought you didn't eat meat. Well, I can binge every once in a while. It's my cheat day. He doesn't say it's a cheat day, but he should have. And then they crash the truck, which apparently doesn't work, into the Zap head's hideout, and she jumps down from the roof, and they all, by herself, they all point guns at her. She's like, hey, did you miss me? Remember that fun time where we were all shooting at each other and you tried to kill me and I tried to kill you? Well, should we do that again? And like, ha, 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 ha. It's like, you thought I came here alone, didn't you? Did you? You thought I came here alone. Well, of course you did. Why did you come here alone? Says Spinner. And then they're all standing in a line. And then Teddy Rex swings from the rafters on a chain like Tarzan and bumps into all of them, and they all fall over, and apparently that's the end of the scene.
That's it. that's how that scene ends.
That's all.
They kind of look like real pusses with that. Like
So then they get the kid to record a message to see a hologram, and to like get the Whoopi Goldberg to come over there, and that's all they do to get him to come. And they make Spinner take them on his go-kart with a propeller on top, like he's flying like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang across the sky over to the compound, and they fall through the giant roof.
Yes.
Right. And then Spinner is the only survivor of that crash. I mean, he's not, but he's the one who stands up first. And he says to Elazar Kane, "It's not my fault. It's not my fault. They made me come here. It's not my fault at all." And then Elazar Kane says, "It's him. Shoot him." The Zap heads shoot him, and he dies.
Yep.
And then Katie gets up, and then he explains, like, hey, like, he opens up his giant thing, and we see all of the, like, it looks like in the Matrix where all the people are in pods.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it looks like that is in his house somewhere.
I want to pause real quick because I'm looking at the chat, and some of you are saying this review is selling you on watching the movie. I just want to emphasize that Alex is making it sound way more fun than it is. It drags so long.
It's way too long. It's like it's an hour and 5 minutes of anything, and the movie is it's an hour and a half.
Like Velocipaster, because it set out to be a bad movie, and it was an hour and 10 minutes because of this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, this is just it. It sounds fun because it's so badass insane, but it is like the pacing of this movie is such a chore to watch. So no, don't go watch it. But continue.
No,
like this area of the movie especially was just like, oh my god.
So yeah. Anyway, Spinner says, "It's not me. I didn't do it." And then Army Miller says he's the one. Shoot him. And private doctor lawyer assistant shoots him, and he vaporizes. And the only thing left of him is his weird metal eye patch.
Correct.
Everything else vaporizes. And
just
then they pull Katie Coltrane, Whoopi Goldberg, out of the out of the wreckage. She's fine. Where's Sebastian? In a cage where all bad children belong. Which is a weird thing to say. And all the Zap heads are bringing her over there. She beats them up. They're two of them are holding her. She kicks them all in the kneecaps, and then she punches them in the face, and she steals her gun back. And she is outside. I don't know why she's outside now, but she's outside and she's running down a hill and all the Zapheads are chasing her. None of this matters because we haven't gotten to the point. Yeah. Oh, this is where the Teddy comes in and says, you're under arrest, Elazar Kane. And like, look around, it's the future. And it shows them the whole, the warehouse or whatever. I'm going to change the earth. Oh, also, that's why I haven't seen Molly Rex yet, because when he brought her back, he froze her, and she's one half of the pair, because there's like an arc, there's a pair of everything. So he wants Teddy to be the other half of the pair of T-Rexes that are going. There's also a giant nuclear warhead on a rocket, like an ICBM missile that he's going to shoot into the atmosphere and detonate, which will cause a new ice age. That's what he's going to do.
And I gotta emphasize too, you're probably like, how are 2 T-Rexes gonna fit on a boat? They're 6'4" at most.
Yeah, 6'4". Yeah.
At most.
Uh-huh.
So you'll be able to fit 2 dinosaurs on that ark, no problem.
So they shoot the ICBM into the air, and there's a T-minus 100, which I don't know, 100 seconds, 100 minutes. This is
just 100.
Minus 100 to detonation. I don't know what that is, but he's got all.
It's the future. We don't know what units of time are.
He wants to wipe out the world and then repopulate it with one pair of everything, which is going to lead to inbreeding. I don't know if he knows that as a man of science, but he says it's my dream to like, and that's, I don't know if it's like the pairing is going to be him and his private lawyer doctor assistant / girlfriend. I don't know if that's the pairing of humans, but
I guess.
I don't know. Yeah. Prepare him for a sleep, they say about Teddy. He says, "Oh no, my love, Molly, what have they done to you? You're frozen."
Distraught.
Yeah. Now she's somehow like, it's so weird. She had to go across the entire compound to rescue Sebastian, who she really doesn't care about. She's shooting so many Zapheads. They've got like machine guns. She's got one little 6-shooter. They're shooting rocket launchers at her. And she's able to kill them all because, of course, she is. She's a great gun. She's a cyber cop. And Detonus minus 65 now we've gotten to already. So she fights them all off, and she rescues Sebastian and the chimp. The chimp and the Sebastian now are best friends.
Of course. They had that whole interaction before. That whole one.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. And she says, needles creep me out, you know. One little prick and you'll wake up in paradise, says Dr. Lawyer Assistant. Why did you guys kill Oliver and Adam? They threatened to expose Mr. Kane's master plan. And so I don't know what but he like uses his tail to knock her into the freezer and then freezes her. So now she's frozen, private doctor, lawyer assistant.
That's correct.
Elazar has the remote control. He's the only one who can abort the plan. That's it.
Did we find out they're cyborgs yet?
Who?
The cops?
We do in a little bit, because this is where Elazar Kane is supposed to be going to one of his sleep chambers, but he never actually does. I don't know why they tell us that's what he's doing. But so then Edge and Elazar Kane show up, and this is after Katie Coltrane comes in, and she's there. He can't. For some reason, he doesn't know how to use the keypad. He's very upset about this. But anyway, Katie Coltrane comes in, get her out using he uses his tail to smash the keypad, and that's enough to get her Molly Rex out. She's not frozen anymore. Katie's here. And here comes Edge and Elazar Kane, who shoot Katie Coltrane in the chest and torso about 40, 45, 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
But all that does is just freeze her in place.
That's it.
Yeah. Hey, Teddy, take my gun and go kill them. I can't do it for you. I'm like, no, I can't take your gun. I don't want it. He says, I'm a pacifist. He says earlier in the film, I don't want to do this, so I'm not going to do this. He says, Amarillo says, come with me, Teddy. I forgive you. Come with me. I forgive you. You can come with me on this thing. I said, no, I don't want to do that. So she's, again, like she's all bound
paralyzed
up
from the neck down, basically. Yeah.
Paralyzed from the neck down while standing straight up. Because she, so they shoot him once in the arm, the dinosaur. They shoot her 75 times. They shoot him once in the arm and say, that's enough. We should now. And then the dinosaur follow, like he says, I'm not exactly hit. I'm offline and my systems are down. So I think you're on your own here, says her head to him. Like she's still like she looks fine, but she's like now you're on your own. It kills me to say this, but you might have been right. Use something a little better than a gun, she says to him. And like use yourself. You're so smart. Use your brain. Your brain is better than a gun. So he outsmarts everybody, I guess, is the end of this.
Just insane.
He says, "Hey, come back here." He said he hits the zap head that jumps out of the bushes with his tail, and then he uses a grappling hook to snake the because Elazar Kane, who we've seen earlier in a limo being driven by Edge, this Jeep going across the compound, and Elazar Kane is driving, and Edge is sitting next to him. So he fashions a grappling hook and attaches it to a length of rope and throws it from the top of a mountain, like a little hill, and it hooks the back of Elazar Kane's seat as the thing is driving away. So it pulls his whole seat out with Elazar Kane inside it, but he was driving, so there's nobody now driving the Jeep. So Edge is sitting there with nobody there to drive, and he goes, what? Ah! Puts his hands up as it crashes into a billboard, and the billboard explodes. Like just there's like I don't know, like 15 pounds of C4, like a huge explosion.
Yeah,
because a Jeep crashed into a wooden billboard.
The billboard must have been covered in gasoline. That's the only thing I could think here. And the other thing was like, is it not violence by not using a gun? Like, it's still violence. It's just not gun violence, right? It's kind of like, you're not a pacifist. You're not opting to not fight. You're still fighting. You're just opting not to use a gun. It's insane.
So
like that guy still died. You know what I mean?
So he takes the remote out of Elazar Kane's pocket. And he pushes the button as the woman says, detonation -10, 9, 8, 7. He hits it at 10, and the countdown continues. So I was like, oh, did that work or whatever? But then we see the ICBM flying over, like through the atmosphere, orbiting the Earth, and it explodes. But I thought that was the whole point of it. When it explodes, it causes the ice age. But no, if you hit the button and it explodes in a different way, then that actually cancels out the ice age. Like, don't you understand? That's how it works.
It makes no sense. Jesse Ozog, by the way, saying, come on, guys, you know how explosive cars were back then. This isn't a back then. This is the future.
This is the future. But actually, like Teslas kind of explode all the time. So like you like extrapolate that a couple of 100 years in the future.
I guess. But I was very confused by the switch not stopping. Like, if you hit... Movies have told us, if you hit the button that's supposed to prevent the end of the world, as long as you hit it before the count of 1, nothing happens. But then something did still happen, but it wasn't the same thing that was supposed to happen.
Exactly.
Normal.
Right. So the whole thing And as he's hitting them, like, no, don't do it. Please do not hit the button. No, my dreams is the last thing that Armin Mueller-Stahl says. No, my dreams.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. This is like,
and we cut directly from that to a scene where Teddy Rex like becomes a real cop and gets a medal from the commissioner. He is wearing a sling on his arm that he was shot in. I will remind you that he was shot in the arm after being shot, did a whole bunch of stuff using that arm. But this is basically like professional wrestling, where you're selling the arm for a while, then you do all of your finishing moves. And then the next night you come out and you're limping. You got to sell it the next night.
Of course.
So that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. And so he says, you're going to be a good cop. You think, oh, yeah, I believe you could do anything you put your mind to, Teddy. Great. I put my mind to being your partner forever. They told me as a gold badge, I get to pick my new partner, and I pick you. What are you doing the next 20 years? And they walk away. And I think this is he says, he quotes Casablanca. He says, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And they both laugh. And then the last thing it says it just says on the screen, see ya.
That's the end of this movie.
It's not as egregious as We'll Be Back from the end of Mac and Me. But again, I do believe they thought that they were going to get a sequel out of this.
They thought they were going to get a sequel. Instead, they went direct to video after spending $35 million. So
they just decided to give up on it and not use anything for it. Whoopi Goldberg said on her final day of shooting, 99% of the crew was different from the first day. Yeah. So this is where it is. So in 1992, after a series of meetings, Whoopi Goldberg made a verbal agreement with producer Richard Gilbert Abramson to star in this film for $5 million plus the back end. Abramson called Whoopi at home, and Goldberg called Abramson at home, and he asked her if she was 100% committed to doing the film, and she said yes. But then she stopped answering his phone calls because apparently she saw the script, I think.
Obviously.
So the film's Italian investors pressured producers Abramson and Stefano Ferrari to sue her for $20 million. The producers did not want to sue her, but the Italian investors made them. Goldberg countersued, says she's never agreed to do the film. So that's when we get the thing of like the answering machine tape was used.
Exhibit A. Verbal contracts are binding.
Goldberg's people claimed this was recorded illegally, but that doesn't matter. The judge gave the impression to Goldberg that she was going to lose the case and that she should settle. In September 93, Goldberg settled, and the producers had to pay her $7 million to do the film, which is $2 million more than what she was agreed to. And they also had to cover her legal fees, which so she got paid $8 million to do this film. In 1992, she agreed to do this thing. I don't know what pitch that they gave her to do it, but she agreed to do it in 1992. That was the year Sister Act came out. So she didn't make this until the fall of 1995. But yeah.
She tried so hard.
Jonathan R. Butel, I don't know how to say it, retired from directing after this film. He felt the studio didn't market it correctly. Otherwise, it would have been a huge hit.
Yeah, you know what? That does seem like the issue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was originally intended for a wide theatrical release, but the film had disappointing test screenings in February 1996, in cities including Las Vegas, Des Moines, Iowa, Providence, Rhode Island, and Portland, Maine. Those people all hated the film. So, given you know what? Let's just cut our losses and put it on video. because they were supposed to go out wide, and everybody in all those test labs was like, "This is awful."
Those are wildly different markets, and all of them said no.
Yeah. Stefano Ferrari was heir to the car fortune and wanted to get into films. And this was the first and only picture he ever produced. But don't feel bad about him. He's still the heir to the Ferrari fortune. So
he's fine. Did the director, you said the director retired?
Yeah, no, the director retired. Yeah, yep, it's true.
Did anybody else go on to do anything?
The director was also the writer, so let's not feel too bad for him. He wrote the script, so
it's okay that he hung it up after this.
It's okay. We didn't need to see any more.
We got it. It's a wrap.
Yeah. You know what?
Gotcha.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
There it is.
Yeah. Yes. No, it's bad. No, she had Stefano Ferrari banned from the set. Every time she would walk past him, she would mutter "motherfucker" at him every time she saw him. She hates him so much. I love this. Oh God, it's so bad.
I wish we had talked about this instead of the movie.
They originally asked Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock, to direct this film, and he turned them down.
No, really?
Yeah.
Spock?
So the director constantly wrote the script during the entirety of production. The Katie Coltrane character was originally written as a white male. Kurt Russell was originally considered for the role.
They were going to do a heavily referenced race relations film with a white man in this spot.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yowza.
Yeah.
My God.
The opening crawl was added after test screenings. The children in the audience, while liking the film, were visibly confused with much of the sophisticated talk and grown-up plot details. Grown-up plot details. Oh, Jesus.
My God. Mommy, what's speciest? You'll learn when you're older, honey.
That's true. You will.
Jesus.
Yeah. No. But honestly, the dinosaur suits are the highlight of the film because they actually came out of something good, which was the Dinosaurs TV show, which was John Criswell, who did all of that, did this.
I mean, good, but like I'd seen them before, so it's not like the animatronic trolls and Ernest's Halloween movie and stuff. Like,
yeah. The lawsuit was the last resort. Originally, Goldberg was like, "Just let me stay on as an executive producer. I'll lend my name to all that stuff, and I will personally find the right person to star in it instead of me. Please, just don't make me be in this movie." And they were like, "No, you have to star." And then it was like, "Okay, lawsuit." Yeah.
My God.
So that's it. That's all I wanted just to, there you go. That's all that's
how bad it is. She tried everything she could to get out of it. She tried
everything she possibly could.
God bless her.
All right. There we go. That's good. Yeah, that's it.
Alex, this is going to surprise you.
Yeah.
I think it was a tough call.
Yeah.
By a razor thin margin. I'm going to say we should get the flick out of here.
No, it's very close. It's free on Tubi. It's free on Tubi. Tubi is an amazing service, which has a lot of this kind of crap on it. So much of it, like too much. It's an amazing service. Tubi.tv. There's apps for Tubi on your smart TV or your iPad or whatever. It's amazing. So I will say, find this on Tubi and hold on. I mean, it's like an hour and 20-ish minutes in. Just you gotta see the little puppet that comes out of the bag. Like
that scene only.
It's bizarre. That's the only that's the thing. I recommend that only because it doesn't make any sense. Like, you got to see that. But
as someone who's never done drugs, I appreciate it because I would imagine it's something like this. This movie is valueless. Like, I don't know if I've ever said that about a movie on here.
Right.
It was a trudge. Like, we watched some weird stuff. We watched some bad stuff. This might be the worst. I think this is worse than Santa with Muscles. Like, this was really bad.
Right.
This was like really hard to. It was hard to stay in there for. Like, it was rough. Because it didn't, like, some of them are bad, but you can fly through them. This was just.
This was bad, but not in a gleeful kind of way. Just literally, how is this a thing that exists? Is kind of way, not like, wow, this was. Can you believe it? It was like, I can't believe it. Yeah, there's a difference, and for that, I wouldn't say get the flick out of here. But really, if you got a few minutes and you got Tubi, check out the guy in the bag scene. The guy in the bag scene. My Jesus.
Everybody's waiting for the blue puppet in the bag.
That's right. Everybody, thank you for the first one of these. They're not normally this long, but this movie, it's so hard to explain. You have to do some real thing. So this is what we're gonna do: noon Eastern every Friday. Hopefully, we're gonna do these live, so you guys can all be here with us. We'll try and make sure everybody knows what movie we're going to do by Tuesday night when we do the post NXT show over on Fightful. We'll let you all know in case you want to feel like you want to watch it ahead of time, so you know all the things as well. We really appreciate all of your support being here. We're trying to grow the show and this channel. So I thank you so much for being a part of it. So next week we'll figure out something also bad, but hopefully not this bad. And then we'll tell you whether or not we're going to get the flick out of here. Bye, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend.